Red Sox pitching is currently shocking everybody, but what does that really mean? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and right now the scariest part of the 2024 Boston Red Sox is very easily their pitching staff. Every single spot you look in, whether it's the rotation or the bullpen, for the most part, has a really massive question mark attached to it, and we just flat out do not know what is going to come. We can assume whether they'll be good or whether they'll be bad, but we have absolutely no idea what this pitching staff is going to look like in 2024. Well, we did get our first glimpse of this pitching staff this spring, and so far they've been extremely impressive, but does that mean that it's going to carry over to the regular season? So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to go over exactly what I'm talking about. Why the Red Sox have been so impressive this spring, why they're surprising a lot of people, and whether or not this means absolutely anything for the regular season. But before we get into that, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We're, I think, about 170 away. So if you're new here and you want to help us get there, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. The reason the Red Sox pitching staff has been surprising everyone this spring is because they've actually been really, really good. I'm talking one of the best in Major League Baseball good, if you can believe it. Now, I am recording this video on Friday, so by the time you are seeing this, there will have been 2 games played in between now and when you're watching, and with my luck, the Red Sox are going to drastically change this pitching staff one way or the other, but hopefully these numbers are only skewed a little bit. Either way, at the time of this recording, the Boston Red Sox have the best ERA in the entire AL. That's all 15 teams. The Red Sox have been better than every single one of them. They are also the 3rd best ERA amongst all Major League teams. All 30 MLB teams, yeah, the Red Sox are top 5. They're number 3. That's pretty impressive in my book, but what might be even more impressive so far this spring is that right now, the Boston Red Sox are tied for the best whip, walks or hits per innings pitched in the entire AL, and tied for 5th in walks and hits per innings pitched among all Major League teams. Why I think this is actually more impressive than their ERA is because if they had a low ERA, but they had a really high whip, what that would most likely indicate is that their defense was able to get them out of a lot of tight spots, right? They were able to get a couple of double plays, get out of a bases loaded situation. While that could be important, what this low whip indicates is that this ERA is in large part due to what the pitchers are doing on the mound themselves. They're not relying on defense as much as it would be if they had a higher whip. The fact that they have such a low whip, in fact, the lowest whip in the AL and the lowest ERA in the AL, is a really, really good combination because it's indicating that the pitching staff has been able to do this. And to me, that's really impressive, especially coming off of an offseason where there are just so many question marks in this pitching staff, really basically throughout the entirety of it, even in the bullpen as well. However, there are a few things we should note about these statistics before we either jump for joy or start getting ready to defend our stances that the Red Sox are going to be bad, and there are a couple of reasons why. The first one is because, to be honest with you, most of the reason the Red Sox ERA is so low and whip is so low is because of the Red Sox bullpen. Out of the 183 innings thrown by a Red Sox pitcher this spring, only 56 1/3 of it have been from legitimate starters. That's only 30% of the time. When the starters are on the mound, it's a bit of a different story. They're 19th in ERA at 4.95 and 5th in whip in 1.12. So they're still keeping the walks and hits down, but when they are getting hit, they're getting hit pretty hard, and it's leading to a lot of runs. When you're looking at it from just the reliever's point of view, it's a 3.06 ERA, which is really impressively 2nd in all of Major League Baseball, and a 1.32 whip, which is in the 8th spot in the league. So it's a bit of a tale of two cities there, right? Obviously a smaller sample size for your starters, but overall with the bullpen, it has been clearly much more productive this spring than their rotation has. So what does this all mean? Is there anything we could pull out of these spring training statistics that can give us a sneak peek as to what the Red Sox pitching staff is going to look like in 2024, or is all of this nonsense that means absolutely nothing? In my opinion, yes and no is the answer to both of those questions. Whether or not it gives us a sneak peek and whether or not it means absolutely nothing, because it's technically both at the exact same time. And I know that's a really weird thing to say, but I think when you're looking at it as a whole with both starters and relievers, it's hard to sit there and say, oh, the Red Sox are going to be pitching well this season because of what this spring training has done. It means that they're going to be a top 10, top 5 pitching staff in Major League Baseball. And that's mainly for two reasons. One, they haven't been strictly facing major league talent. I would say, honestly, for the most part, they've been facing minor leaguers or fringe major leaguers, right? Guys who are fighting for their chance to get onto the 40-man roster, guys who really have about a 10% chance of making the major league roster, trying to at least get their name in front of some faces at some point during this year if injuries happen or something like that, or you're just facing straight minor league guys because your major league players are off at a tee time or something like that, right? That's usually how spring training goes. So a lot of these at-bats weren't against legitimate major league talent. The other thing I want to point out here is that there are a ton of players this season that are getting reps this spring that probably aren't going to be getting reps for the Red Sox in the regular season. Spring training can be a bit funky for statistics, especially with pitching stats, but that doesn't mean this means absolutely nothing, especially from the bullpen side of things. When you're looking at the starters, specifically starters who know they have a spot in this rotation, they are using their outings to work on things. Maybe they get lit up one outing because they're trying really hard to hone in the shape of their slider, so they're not really caring exactly where the slider ends up. What they're caring about is the movement that gets it to that spot, right? Or maybe they're working on what pitch sequencing they're going to be looking at, and they're just trying straight different pitch sequences to see if any of them work. Or maybe they're just looking at mechanics, right? Maybe they're just trying to say, okay, every pitch I throw, regardless of the outcome, I want to land here. I want my elbow at this angle, right? You've got a ton of different things that starters are working on that really have nothing to do with their ERA. So you could get an outing from a Garrett Whitlock or a Tanner Houck where it goes 2 innings and allows 5 or 6 runs, and it doesn't really matter. In fact, they could have actually improved something in their ability to pitch, and it could end up looking like a 7 or 8 ERA, but they're really happy with how it went. So it's hard to take away statistics specifically from the starting pitching side of things because a lot of these guys who are starters have a spot in this rotation and are trying to improve on specific things. But the same can't be said almost exactly for the bullpen, right? Obviously, they're still trying to work things out, but at the same time, too, they're also fighting for a roster spot, right? There are only really, I would say, 3 or 4 guys who have a definite spot in this Red Sox bullpen. The other 4 or 5 spots are completely up for grabs. And so when you're looking at these statistics, these guys are going 100%. They're trying to make this team because at the end of the day, the Red Sox have to base their roster decisions on something. And sure, past performances, experience in Major League Baseball play effect, but in large part, it's due to what they are able to show them this spring. And so to me, when you're asking me, hey, Corbin, is there anything we can take out of these statistics? I would say, yeah, look at what these bullpen guys are doing, because even though they're facing minor leaguers or fringe 40-man guys, or maybe once in a while they are getting into games against big leaguers, these guys are going 100% and they're trying to make the team. So these statistics do kind of matter a bit because they matter to the Boston Red Sox. And so to see them do really well during spring training is, to me, a really good sign. All in all, when we're looking at these statistics, I understand a lot of you guys are going to sit here and you're going to say, Corbin, what are you doing, right? These mean absolutely nothing. Spring training stats don't help you win a World Series. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm not going to argue with you, my friend, right? You are 100% correct. But at the same time, too, it doesn't mean it means absolutely nothing. Last year, the Boston Red Sox finished spring training 18th in ERA, towards the very bottom of the league. They finished the 2023 season in the 20th overall position in terms of ERA. Now, are those two things correlated? I don't know, right? I have no idea if them coming off of a spring where they were really bad translated to a season where they were really bad, but What if it did, right? What if this hot start gives this Red Sox pitching staff a bit of confidence? They've been looking at everything we've been saying this offseason, right? No one believes in them. Now they're getting the chance to start proving themselves, and they're doing it successfully. One, this could very well help with the confidence both in this rotation and in this bullpen, specifically with the young players on this team who really don't have anything else to base themselves off of. They can use spring training as fuel to improve themselves for the regular season. The other thing I want to say is that what's the difference between last spring training where they were 18th and this spring training where they were 3rd? Well, maybe it's the difference that Breslow, Bailey, and Willard are making. Maybe the three of them coming together and creating competitiveness within this pitching staff. Everything the pitchers are doing this spring is a competition against someone else. Or maybe it has to do with the fact that they've been analyzing mechanics and pitch movements and sequencing to try and figure out each individual player's plan to improve their performance in 2024. Now, again, I'm not sitting here and telling you that this is a clear indication that the Red Sox are going to surprise a lot of people in their bullpen and continue to shock everybody going into the regular season, but it's about damn time we get something positive coming out of the Red Sox pitching staff. It's just nice to have something positive to talk about pitching-wise, so I'm still going to talk about it, but again, at the end of the day, this means nothing because it's still 0-0. My hope is that this gives these players confidence, and it indicates that what Breslow, Bailey, Willard, and that guy from Driveline, I cannot remember, please give me his name in the comment section down below, are doing is actually leading to legitimate steps forward and improvement for their roster. But that's just my opinion, so let me know in the comment section down below. I'm sure a lot of you guys think this means absolutely nothing, and I want you to tell me why. If you agree with me, I want you to tell me if you think this means anything for the 2024 Red Sox. Let me know all your thoughts on this topic in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, like I said in the intro, on the road to 10,000, about 180 away. Help us get there by hitting that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys have hit that like button on this video as well, as it really does help these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.